Well, America is waking up to a new dawn. Well, we're actually still living through the current one, and many things have changed. Um, New businesses will have to reinvent themselves, and some old ones are managing this state of course. Today, we get a peek in leadership, what it means to be a leader through these turbulent times with an outstanding leader, Mario Short, next on The Brink.
Welcome to The Brink. You're joining a group of entrepreneurs, brand makers, business owners, decision makers, power brokers, and risk takers, where we discuss business and marketing issues with insightful solutions. This is The Brink with your hosts, Russell Sales and George Cartwright, reminding you that your business is either on the brink of extinction or distinction. Welcome.
My brother.
What's going on, sir?
Man, I am good. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday.
We are in the building.
That is for sure. Not in the streets.
Certainly.
But we are here.
Yes. They don't know that you're busy right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, got phones going off and
Yes.
everything, but hey, we're still rolling with it. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us once again to The Brink with your host. He's George there. He's George Cartwright. I'm Russell Sales, where today we have an very special guest joining us, Mario Short, who is president and CEO of Site Corp, a construction company out of the Midwest and on the East Coast. And we're going to dig into what it takes to maintain leadership in these trying times and continue to maintain your business. We've been talking with outstanding folks like Mario, but he is unique. He comes to us with a wealth of understanding and experience. He's actually a U.S. veteran, and Site Corp is a construction company, as I mentioned, and that handles all types of projects from concept to completion. And he's based out of Chicago. We're going to dig into what all they do and how he's able to lead during these times. So welcome, Mario Short, to The Brink. We appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys do a wonderful job. So thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, George.
You're out of
How you doing, sir?
You're out of Chicago. How are things there? What are you doing to stay sane during these crazy times we're living in?
Well, exercise, walking, running, riding your bike, being with the kids, being with the family. That's about all we can do. So this is it's an interesting time. So it seems like we're in a petri dish.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of crazy now. And I think you are in one of the hot spots. We have several friends that are in New York as well, but Chicago's one of the hot spots, and you have good leadership there in the mayor and the governor that's being proactive and really trying to keep the citizens safe there. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. That's Hopefully, people are following. Yeah.
I hope. I pray, all we can do is try to contribute.
Yeah, that's what we can do. So we appreciate you for being here, man. Let's jump right in. Russ.
Let's start a little from the beginning. For those who don't know your story, how did you get to running a company like you're running? How did you fall into that opportunity? I know you didn't fall into it. I'm sure there was many challenges, but take us to the beginning.
Wow.
Not all the way, but
So you guys are familiar with Chicago. So I grew up in Inglewood.
Awesome. So did I.
Listen, I went to 3 different high schools. Ended up in Hyde Park, and then of course decided that I knew I wanted to be an engineer. Didn't understand whether I'd be a civil, electrical, or mechanical. So I went to school for electrical engineering.
Okay.
But fast forward, I end up going to the Marine Corps
Mhm.
in my senior year of college, and began to understand that the world was so much bigger than blocks or 2 miles that we existed in. And I began to see other folks um, just had a different perspective on freedom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So for me, the Marine Corps opened my eyes to so many different opportunities, and I, needless to say, I didn't know that it would provide me an opportunity to be where I am today. That was 12 years prior to me starting my first construction company in the late 90s,
Okay.
Mm.
Charlotte, North Carolina. I started a site utility business. This is probably after 7 other failed business, from network marketing, almost embarrassed to say it,
Yeah.
network marketing to sales and finance in the car business. All those different businesses taught me certainly about market segmentation, identifying target audiences. So yeah, wasn't able to synthesize it at the time in the late 90s until I actually got into construction and construction management. Who are we going to be in the market? What are we going to do that's going to differentiate us? And what is our service offering going to look like? How do we begin to develop an offering that our clients would appreciate? And I landed on site utilities, which is where site came from. So instead of SIT, when I moved back to Chicago, I changed it to SYTE.
Mhm.
And we know water and sewer, wastewater, those things. Clean drinking water is an issue not only in the United States but globally.
Right.
Mm.
Did a term paper in college in the 80s about um, groundwater, aquifers, and things like that. So I learned to appreciate how important clean drinking water is to planet Earth.
Mhm.
So nevertheless, when I moved back to Chicago, I jumped back into the car business, right? Because we had to pay bills. Right?
Right.
Yes.
So I jumped in there, and then in 2004, President Bush signed an executive order giving a certain set aside to veterans,
Okay.
and the number was huge. It was 15 to 18 billion dollars
Mhm.
every single year. And then I began to understand that the federal government spends 5, 6, 700 billion dollars a year, and there was a niche market for firms with good, with relevant offerings. If
Mhm.
you can deliver, these folks pay you on time.
Oh well, say that.
So you probably heard the stories of getting paid whatever they feel like paying you,
Right.
especially if you're
Absolutely.
a subcontractor. So the idea was to make sure that you could be a prime contractor,
Mhm.
all business, grow organically, even though the markets have, the construction and engineering market has violent cycles of ups and downs. You,
Mhm.
you may have a year where your revenues may dip by 50%. It's different
Mhm.
company that's doing 10 or 15 billion dollars a year
Yeah.
to 7.5 billion doesn't hurt them.
No.
If you go from 20 million to 7 million, you might have a problem,
Yeah.
especially with retaining, good. I think for small construction, minority-owned businesses and veteran-owned businesses, it's really difficult to retain good talent because they're not able to offer all the things. But nevertheless, my first job, and I can say this, was you're familiar with Garrett's Popcorn on
Oh yes. Love it.
State in Jackson.
Love
So,
it.
Absolutely.
that landscape, the streetscape, we were doing that for GSA, and then this the Secret Service called us November 5th, 1998. Well, I'm sorry, 2008.
Mhm.
We know what happened in
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
they called us, and we were able to do some work for them associated with our president.
Uh
And
huh.
Wow.
that was our first performance contracts with the federal government. And then we found that they actually paid us in less than 14 days.
Yeah.
So I never So I never looked back. Since to me, I said, listen, if I could generate $500,000, $1 million, or whatever it would be,
Mm-hmm.
control the growth of my company because I could have predictive sales, predictive payments. There's things that I could do that I would never be able to do if I was a subcontractor and just, all the risk was on me. So
Right.
nevertheless, that was where we started. Then, of course, the Veterans Administration, we started doing work for the healthcare
Second.
industry for the VA,
Mm-hmm.
not so much in the commercial market. DOD, Corps of Engineers, they're our clients, and we do mostly heavy civil. We made a strategic shift a couple years ago because it's we could predict the kind of contracts and the kind of performance-based contracts we could land on if we focus on heavy civil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Vertical. So the difference between vertical and horizontal construction: vertical is building buildings, renovation. Horizontal would be roads, infrastructure, things like that.
So when you landed the contract with the federal government, because not everybody has that opportunity, would you say that the opportunity met your preparation? Your preparation met the opportunity. Which way did it work?
So great question. So like the other 7 or 8 businesses I failed in, right? I call myself a failed entrepreneur, and I think I'm still failing, right? But you want to fail fast.
Fail fast and forward.
I think so. So no, we had a lot of learning to do,
right?
Because of the processes,
Mm-hmm.
documentation is required. You have to have an apparatus that's in place to process all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
called documentation. In terms of finding the right leadership,
Yeah.
and we all know you've been watching The Last Days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you have a Dennis Rodman on your team. You got to know how to use them.
Right.
On the team, you have to know how, in terms of leadership, how to begin to put the pieces in place.
Mm-hmm.
And still, it's an ongoing issue for us. So, to your question, Jordan, we're still finding our way to understanding how do we advance our operational excellence in our operations such that it meets the needs and the demands all the time. We would prefer outstanding than a satisfactory performance rating.
Right. Right.
Everyone, but if you can meet the needs of your client and do it timely, that's the most important thing.
Now, you speak of the team and the we, and I love to hear that because it takes a team. Did any of these team members that you have with you now, were they on your other journeys or forays, or are they a completely different team?
Completely different. So I moved to Denver, Colorado for a couple years in the mid '90s, and I went skiing for probably 2 years. Some time and some relationships. So no, and how the idea came up, guys, just to circle back.
Yes.
In the Marine Corps, a good friend of mine, he's from Sumter, South Carolina. We talked about being a general contractor. So Charlotte to join him in business, and how it ended that he and I were best being friends.
Okay.
Sometimes put a strain on the friendship for about 4, 5, 6 years. But finally, he was one of my best friends. But sometimes family and friends, you just gotta have them stay there. So to your question, no. But I can tell you, I got a special group of individuals on the team now that's been with me for over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the core group that's going to take us to the championship in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, you started. You have 2 locations. Is that correct? You are in the Carolinas and in Chicago.
Correct. Now we recently moved the office to St. Mary's, Georgia, which is on the border of Georgia and Florida.
Okay. How difficult is that operating in multiple locations across this vertical?
So it could be difficult because you don't have line of sight of folks.
Mhm.
But if you've got the right, generally, if you train a person internally in your organization, they're with you for 2, 3 years, and they're close to you, you know them, and then you deploy them. That's how we've been doing it.
Mhm.
You work with us a couple years, and then we deploy you, and then of course, then we begin to hire the individuals that fit the culture, that can buy into our processes and how we think, our core values. And once they do that, we bring them on board. So it's an onboarding process that, 60, 90, 120 days just to understand if individuals are going to work. And then, of course, we, marriages, right?
Right.
You may be married to somebody 20, 25. I'm going to try to be diplomatic. So over
Keep
20,
it real.
25, 30 years, and there's always new stuff. So
Mhm.
That's
Absolutely.
sure. Now, the pandemic is affecting everybody in all sectors, including government, to a great extent. How have you had to pivot, if at all, during this pandemic? How has it affected you?
So the only way it's impacted us, the nature of our business is individuals are in the field, and we have managers managing. So we have quality control and construction managers in the field. It's big machinery. You have one, two men on site that's managing. So that shift that we made a couple years ago, it was timely. Certainly, I'm a believer, so I can tell you a lot of that had to do with my God and
Yes. Yes.
the timeliness of it. Because to be honest with you, we are doing better than we were doing the entire 5 years prior
Mm.
Wow.
in terms of contract awards, things like that. So we, again, it's I won't call it luck because
Yeah.
I've been on my butt many times
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the last 25 years, and things just seem to work out timely.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Mhm.
God is good that way.
Yeah.
Amen. So your the projects that you manage and those things, like, do you own all this heavy machinery? You lease it? Like, what is the your ultimate like response? Overhead, the capitalization, like how are you making it all work? Right now. Granted, the contracts are still there, and you're still
Yeah.
doing that. But are you fitting the pieces together? How are you doing that?
So it's a Rubik's cube. It's not, especially when you're having explosive growth or you're having growth periods. You have
Yeah.
to try to, so we lease some of the equipment, but we're really a construction management firm. So what
Gotcha.
we
Gotcha.
is that we may transfer 65, 75% of the risk, and we self-perform a portion of the work, but we're really a management component.
Mhm. Do you come in once a contract has been gotten to put boots on the ground, people to make sure that it's going well, or are you in on the planning phase as well?
So project planning, that's what we do. Um, Certainly, we invite our resources in, we enroll them in the process.
Mhm.
But then we make sure that we create the project plan. And of course, we set our construction managers and quality control folks and safety folks out in the field to manage the sites.
Gotcha. Cool.
I imagine hiring is going to be good for companies like that. Exactly. You've got your pick of. I mean, you didn't cause the pandemic.
It's not funny, but we were praying.
Yeah.
Let me not say that. I don't. So we knew that the effect of a recession,
Mhm.
and for me, in my communities, veteran and minority communities, you want your organization to be an archetype of your communities.
Right.
We received a grant from the city to build an incubator in our community, in the community I grew up in, to teach folks professional services. And I think it's going to make a huge impact on our communities.
Yeah.
Excited about that. But yes, there is a lot of talent available.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about that, as much as you could talk about it. What a business incubator would do for the community that you grew up in, Inglewood. I know it well. You know what? How much does entrepreneurship help? Is it difficult to teach? Can it be passed on? You know, a lot. Were your parents entrepreneurs, or where did you get that entrepreneurial spirit from? Where did you learn from? Did you have any sages in your life that said, "Hey, this is the way"? You know, like, do this.
So there's things I wouldn't share, but there's things I could. The things I could share is that we know that you grew up in Chicago. You have to be entrepreneurial in some way. We see all kinds of things going on. I want to develop a way that we can create wealth.
Yeah.
For me, that's just what I wanted to do, and I always wanted to. I embarked on this journey, of personal transformation to support. We used to have these little buddies of mine that were nationalists. You all know Wallace D. Muhammad and folks like that.
Yes.
So a lot of my buddies grew up in those areas, and so we used to have meetings and sit around and talk about how do we make an impact. Our young brothers are really getting it. They just, some of them don't see opportunity. For me, I just, by the grace of God, guys, something was in me to make an impact. In terms of the incubator, how it would support us is that a lot of times we know that the cycles and the seasons here can change, so construction stops. My uncles, most of those guys were, and cousins, they could have been, and folks in the community, they were laborers. In terms of skill positions, didn't really have the skill positions like the management positions, quality control, safety. Those positions pay you six figures.
Right.
In any environment, commercial, federal, if you're a great manager, quality control person, you can dictate the means and methods and do a quality assurance over means and methods. You can get work anytime, anywhere. Now, why it's so important for our communities is that maybe the laborer or electrician or carpenter, they all are masters. There's a few of them that are masters at their trade. And all you have to do is teach them the fundamentals of management and quality control. And our incubator can do that. So let's say even some retirees, after you get to be 5 years old, you don't want to be at home all day or whatever. You can go out for a month or two on short stints, go out and run your own company. You can be a single man and do those things. Run an electrical project. You can run a wastewater project, plumbing project. These are things that individuals with skills who understand the means and methods, they could actually manage those projects if they knew, and it wouldn't affect them in their union affiliation.
Right.
The union's going to get their money. We utilize the unions.
Yeah.
But in some environments, you can't even go to some of these environments and be union. So that's the way the incubator could work. More intricate than that, but long and short, that's how it works.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, we grew up in the same area, and as you're talking, I'm envisioning seeing faces that I grew up with, knowing how big of an impact that will make upon that community, and can be seen as a lighthouse for other communities like it. You mentioned earlier how you went through a number of challenges and businesses, like many entrepreneurs like us as well. You've had quote unquote failures. And it just struck a tone with me that during this time, and we've been talking with other business owners and entrepreneurs who are facing some challenging times that we're in. If you can think back upon the times that you had then where it looked like all was lost, how would you advise people today who are faced with similar challenges of quote unquote failing what advice would you give them at this point in time that you learned from your failures?
You know, it's you know, I hate to sound coy about this, but faith. If you don't have faith, if you don't believe in what you're doing, you're just doing it for a dollar.
Mm.
You're not doing it to make an impact. For me, having that deeply rooted that my intention is to make an impact for others.
Mm-hmm.
How's that? If you have a need, if you're feeling a need and you're relieving pain, but you believe in what you want to do, that's what you do now. The biggest thing is trying to find a market that's not flooded with individuals doing the same kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For me, veteran minority-owned firms involved in heavy civil work in the United States, you will find a handful that are successful.
Hmm.
And you all are familiar with the construction engineering industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a handful of us. And the market requires you to be well capitalized. And none of us are, I don't know many firms that are well capitalized. But you have to be careful about how you grow. It's
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm.
grow out of business as well. So for me, it was,
Yeah.
I would say, you better know why you're in.
Right.
You guys probably read the book, Know Your Why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is the truth.
Yeah, it is. And then does that knowing your why help you to overcome difficult days, right? Where those times where it looks bad and you don't know how you're going to make it, but you know that you need to because of the people that you serve, because they need you. They
That's
need
right.
you to be there. Your community needs you. And so you find a way
Yeah.
because you're absolutely needed in that environment.
That's right.
So cool.
Wow. Good stuff. Good
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
How would you describe your leadership? I mean, we're hearing it all here, but if you had to put it in bite sizes, like your leadership style, if someone has asked you, how would you describe that?
Wow. Sounds like an interview question. I guess that's what we're doing here. Wow. So for me, it's visionary. And I surround myself with individuals, and I try to. And I'm blessed with individuals that can do the blocking and tackling.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is compassionate, patient. That's really who I am.
Mm.
And I try to surround myself with folks who are much smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got some that are much smarter, and I enjoy, making sure that they're taken care of. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
Giving, rewarding, incentivizing individuals for their performance. That's what it's all about for me.
Cool. So how much of your leadership was impacted by your military experience? Is that still a good option for young brothers to a good path for them to go through in order to develop leadership and that kind of thing? Or does it, what would you say to brothers today that are thinking about these kind of things as they are graduating, trying to find a job,
And sisters.
and sisters? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So brothers and sisters who intend on serving your country, there's nothing greater you can do, right? When your life on line, you have to know what you're going in for. For me, it was to not to be an officer, although when I actually got in, I thought that I was so close to graduating school, I could have taken that route.
Mm-hmm.
Young brothers and sisters growing or coming out of college, I would say go to West Point Air Force Academy, Naval Academy.
Mm.
There's a certain level of respect in this
Mm-hmm.
country for veterans, and we know the challenges that we face, as a group. We understand the challenges we face. So, we need some extra tools.
Yeah.
So we can use them to then open up some other opportunities for us.
Mhm.
Always going to be challenges. I don't care what color you are,
Right.
but you want to develop a toolbox that can help you at least navigate some of them. So I would suggest it's an option, and I definitely would suggest some of the young brothers and sisters who are out here who may not just they don't know where they're going. Get your GED or diploma, get into the military,
Mhm.
and then figure it out. They'll have a lot of fun. It really is like being in college,
Mhm.
and you can go to school and finish school while you're in. So it is an option for sure.
Cool. And then that's veteran, military, and minority-owned businesses. What kind of some of the ladies out there, other minorities, that whole group of people. Is there a path? Like, is the government, like, how do you figure that out, right? Like, how do you declare? Are you MBE, or like what's the best route to go to get some of that?
Perfect question. So there's a local PTAC, which is Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, all over the United States. So you go there, go to local SBA office, and they'll begin to tell you how to navigate. I mean, you could spin up a company, get a DUNS number, EIN, and you can place yourself on the with the system to begin bidding on contracts, searching, and being able to do some either demographics, feasibility studies, so you can begin to understand, okay, what is the federal government, and when you first go on, you wouldn't think that it's as simple as it is to actually put yourself in position. You could bid on contracts forever though and not get a one. Certainly, the SBA 8A program is really good for individuals that want to learn and get a close relationship with the federal government. Those are good programs.
Nice.
Veteran organization, same thing with the VA. Veterans Administration, they spend tens of billions of dollars per year, and their whole procurement apparatus is set up for veterans first. I mean, the program Veterans First. So all their services they get through veterans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
nice.
Very nice. Good information. That's certainly good information to have, because I think we think that it is harder than it is until you start doing it, right? And then
That's right.
okay, well, it's not as hard as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So
The hardest part is starting.
yeah,
Correct.
that's
Correct. And just have the patience. It took me 4 years until I got my first opportunity, and I haven't looked back.
Mhm.
Be willing to do that. Be willing to make sure that you can feed the family. Heartache and divorce and things like that, because that happens.
Yes.
We know financial issue is a big issue with that. So,
Are you part of any mentorship programs? Are you mentor other younger, newer, not necessarily younger, but newer business owners or entrepreneurs? You have that type of giving and caring leadership skill and direction that would lead toward, many folks being able to glean from your experience.
I'd love to do that, and I'm not. So that was what the incubator was about.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Bringing folks closely in so we can begin to do business with these individuals, show them how to my thing is always now, as I've gotten older, is as I've gotten more mature, I should say. So now it's all about how do we help folks create economic opportunity for themselves.
Mhm.
And do that. You show folks how to continue to build their wealth, then that's what you do. talking to young brothers and sisters, I love to do that whenever I get an opportunity. I've spoken at schools. Lindblom is one,
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
and places like that. So I'm excited about doing that. That's for sure.
That is
When I
awesome.
have the opportunity.
That is awesome. Well, you are, we appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing your knowledge, your journey, your experience. Um, you are a light in this world and in my old neighborhoods. And so we appreciate you, Mario, and blessings to you as you continue this journey, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
How can people find you? Do you take followers on social media platforms or anything like that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
How can people find you or follow you, follow your journey, the company,
Mhm.
any of that information?
So there's a colleague that we have, a shared colleague, and he has convinced me that social media has to be a part of the platform because we want to share those things and
Yes.
we don't need to wait. So sooner, like sitecorp.com
Okay.
is our email, our web address, but soon, and I guess in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to be rolling out the
Mhm.
Facebook
And all of those things.
I
Absolutely.
I have none of those accounts.
You got to do it because as you
Yeah.
begin to impact the next generation of leaders and people like that, particularly in the business incubation space, then they're going to want to know how to follow you. How can I hear from you more? And so,
Understood.
encouraging you to do that.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting because you got a lot to share. You got a lot of information to share, a lot of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge and information. So thank you for being on the brink. We appreciate you. Blessings.
Russ, George, appreciate you, gentlemen.
All right.
All righty.
You're doing a good job, man. You guys won.
Thank you, sir.
We'll
All right.
connect again.
All right.
Take care. Man, y'all
Brothers doing it.
what's up? Brothers are just, it is exciting. It is exciting to see brothers doing it, and then can chart the way, kind of lead you and tell you, hey, this is what you need to be doing, and passing that on in terms of business incubation. And that is really, 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 really cool. That was exciting.
Yes, definitely understands his why.
Yeah.
And he said something that a previous guest said, Kamala Boyd, about leading with compassion.
Yeah.
And that being a secret sauce. I mean, that being a vital skill, if you will, as a leader.
Mhm.
Because it endures people to you and it empowers folks to go in and beyond. So no, that's definitely an awesome thing. And speaking of leadership and giving people something, are we giving people anything this
Yeah,
week?
we are. Because at this time we understand the value of you as a local business in your community being there for the community and providing your service to them and for letting them know that you are there, right? And you leading in with compassion in that. So we are giving you a look at your business, a snapshot report, a 360-degree look at your business and where you are online. Businesses are starting to open up. And so we want, before this reset is over, because we are still kind of in the reset period, we want to make sure that you can come out of this on the other side and come out of this healthy and in a trajectory to grow your business through this time. So go to onthebrinkmarketinggroup.com/snapshot to get your free report. Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, and this is the last day that we will be doing this for free. So you want to get in on that this week. That is onthebrinkmarketinggroup.com/snapshot and get a 360-degree look at your business. We will deconstruct it for you and put it back together for you better than it is today. I can guarantee you that. So
that's for sure. That's for sure. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
81% of consumers search online before even setting foot in a store. This means that consumers are going online to businesses' websites, directories, and search engines before they even come close to entering the physical store. So isn't it just as important for a local business to have a great online presence? One that allows customers to find them with ease? With our software, we help you create a strong foundation for your digital reputation. We help build your online presence to improve search engine rank and make sure your business information is correct across the web. This ensures customers will always be able to find you online and on the street. You could do all of this on your own, but why would you spend more than 300 hours a year working on this? You have a business to run. Save time and put our software to work for you.
Man.
Wow.
Yes.
We're almost at the end of another week.
End of another week. And we thank you all for being here. We do want to encourage you to like, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you are notified when we go live and we post new content. So
join us tomorrow for another episode of The Brink. In the meantime, be productive.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother.
All right, we'll see you.